Do you feel unhappy when you look in the mirror? Do you see people online who look super fit and it's like they spend so many hours in the gym every week and you just wish that you looked like that too, but you don't have all the time in the world to spend at the gym? Then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Julia and I've been a gymnast for over 10 years. I've practiced yoga for the past 6 and overall just been super passionate about health and fitness my entire life. It almost feels like illegal how little work I do, but I look super good, and that's because of this exact workout routine. While working a full-time job, this is literally the only workout I did once a week on the weekends because I had barely any time left over. And that's why I wanted to share it with you guys, because it's super effective, super simple, and it gets you to where you want to be so that you look in the mirror and you are so proud of what you see. This workout is great because you can do it at home or at the gym with just some dumbbells and a mat. If the gym is packed, you have your area and you can just lock it in and get your workout in super fast. You don't have to wait for machines. And if you're at home, it's also really great. It's awesome for the winter time if you have a winter and you don't want to get all bundled up and go outside. That's also why I would do it at home a lot of the times. A brief overview of the workout is we start with some wrist warm-ups and stretching to get the blood flow going. And then we go into this 2-set strength HIIT routine. And it's mainly on legs and core, but also some arms in there. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. So without further ado, let's dive in. So we're gonna start with lizard lunges. You can keep your knee up or down. Here, we're just going to drop our hips down low. Make sure you're breathing, take those deep breaths. And now we're going to stretch out our hamstring. You can point and flex your toe to get that nice stretch going. Stand up nice and tall, keep your back straight as you lean forward, and keep that back toe tucked under as well. You lift up and then down and feel that stretch. Keep breathing, deep belly breaths. Here, I'm just rubbing the backs of my legs to get those muscles a little less tight from sitting all day long. And now you can sit back on your heel, and this is how I usually prep for going into the next pose, and that will be the splits. You can hold this for just a couple seconds. You can do any movement that feels good. Here I'm rolling my ankle, and now you can go into splits. You can hold yourself up with your hands, or if you're comfortable, you can go into full splits. I point my toes in splits, and I try to walk my shoulders back and open up my chest as well to work on posture. This is such a good stretch. It feels so good if you can do the splits, but also feels so good just on your legs if you're holding that jet leg as well. I hold this for about 30 seconds or so. And then from here, after splits, I always turn over into a straddle pose, and then I go from side to side. So we're starting on the right side here, and you just line your forearm up with your leg. And then you reach your left arm overhead, and you stretch over to the right, and you keep your head pretty neutral, and focus on keeping that left hip anchored down so that you really feel the length from the left bottom hip all the way up through the left fingertips. You can also let your head drop to stretch your neck. And then I reach up to the sky and switch sides. And here, my left hand is also down on the ground. It's, again, just parallel with my left leg here. Same thing, drop that right hip down, anchor it, and then stretch your right arm up and over so you feel the stretch all the way along your body. And hold it. You can roll your ankles, flex your feet, come back up. And now we're going to go forward fold. I usually flex my feet here. And then you can just fold your hands over each other and rest your forehead on your hands. All right, and then you can go ahead and come out of that straddle fold. And now we're gonna go to the other side. So get into that lizard lunge, and you can bounce your hips. It feels really nice to just get it nice and loosened up here. You can do a twist. I just did that by putting my hand on my leg and twisting my body. And then you can bend your leg, grab your foot and stretch it, pushing it away from you first and then pulling it towards you to stretch your quad while you pull it towards you. If you push it away, it's more of a arch in your back and like a back bend. Usually I do that on both sides as well. And then here again, we're gonna go into that jet leg, and then you're just gonna breathe in, lift up, and then breathe down, and nose to your knee. Don't push it, just let gravity bring you closer to your knee, and I flex the front foot as well. You can repeat breathing in and lifting up with a straight back, and then breathing out and rounding your back and tucking your chin so that you get that nice stretch on the back. But yeah, you should really feel it in your hamstrings. It's a really good hamstring stretch. You can do that rubbing where you warm up your hamstring as well. I just do a knuckle and I just kind of rub, or like the front part of your knuckles. And it just helps if you're really tense and tight, like from sitting all day long. And then I sit back on my heel to do another deeper hamstring stretch. And then from there, I also go into the splits. But you could hold that pose, or you could go back to the jet leg and keep working on that hamstring flexibility. Or if you want to go into splits, you can hold yourself up. Here, I was a gymnast, so I'm pretty flexible. I'm all the way in the splits. And if you feel like you are also all the way down, you can lift your arms up, do a back bend like I'm doing there. But I remember when I first started, I did have my hands to the side most of the time, just to kind of give myself more space so I wasn't pulling any muscles or anything too fast, going into the pose too fast. All right, and now after that, we're going to go into the straddle fold again. And so in total, we'll do the straddle stretch twice. So this is the other side, same thing. See, now you can see the arm is parallel to the leg, and yeah, you don't even have to have your elbow on the floor completely to get that really nice stretch along the side of your body. And you can look up, straight, wherever feels best for your head. And then we'll do the other side. Reaching, stretching. Making sure again that your hip is anchored, the left one, because that will create more space along the left side of your body. And you should feel it all the way through your arm, all the way to your fingertips. Breathing in deeply through your belly. And then we go and do a forward fold again. Here you can see the hands being placed under my head. I do that usually because if you're at a gym, sometimes you're off the mat and it helps to not put your forehead directly on a gym floor, because otherwise the other variation would be to put your forehead down on the floor if you're all the way that far, or your hands straight out ahead of you and just let gravity slowly push you down. If you have a partner, somebody that you're working out with, they could also give you a push to give you a deeper stretch if you wanted. And then for the next one, we're going to do a variation of a pike or like straight leg fold. I like to do this with my legs very bent because I was so tight so many days that going all the way legs straight was honestly kind of painful. So having your legs a little bent and just slowly going deeper into the pose was a lot more comfortable for me. And then when your legs are really bent as well, you just let your head hang and really feel that stretch on the posterior side of your body. It's really a nice sensation. And yeah, just let your legs get straighter and straighter as you stretch, but there's no pressure to go completely straight legs here. So this one's mostly for, I think, releasing the back from all of that tension in your neck. You should feel it all the way down from your head to your tailbone, and then through your legs to your feet. It's just a great pose. And you can always move your feet and point them, warming up those ankles. Breathing deeply. Trying to take those big, deep belly breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Wiggle those ankles. Good job. And now we're going to do some fun wrist warm-ups. We're gonna rock forward and backwards. Forward and backwards. And I like to sit on my toes here. Now we're gonna do some circles. Your hands are facing pretty much straight forward, but they can be turned out slightly. Make sure to press into your pointer finger and thumb as you're doing these as well. Not to let all the weight go to the outside of your wrists. And we're gonna do the other direction. Shake out the wrists, and then we're gonna do some wrist circles. So you pinch your wrist as if you're gonna like pinch off your wrist, hold it tight, make a tight fist, and then roll it one direction about 10 times, and then the other direction about 10 times, and then switch wrists. Same thing, pinch your wrist, just holding it really tightly at the base essentially, and then rolling it one way and then the other way. Now we're gonna go into some finger stretches. Just work the way toward the thumb, start with the pinky, and just pull it lightly towards you. You don't have to push hard. And just like 1 second each finger is really just all you need to get that nice stretch going. You can start on the thumb side and work your way to the pinky. Just make sure you get all 10 fingers stretched. All right. Now you can turn your fingers back towards you if you want. It looks like I went right into the next one, which is you put your wrists palm side up and then just open and close your hands. And that one was just palms facing up, pointing towards you. And then that one you can rock as well, side to side or forward and back. You can do as much or as little wrist warm-ups as you would like. So next is we're gonna be holding this push-up plank. We're gonna be doing our little bit of core right in the beginning. We're gonna hold this for about a minute. And this is where I would normally start my timer. Here I'm just counting in my head to 60. But yeah, normally I would start a 6-minute timer and then wait for it to hit 5 minutes. And once it hits 5, as it's counting down, I would switch to the next plank. So we do this push-up plank, and you're doing great. It's definitely hard to get the best and most out of the position. Push the ground away with your hands and round your shoulders. And then you also want to keep your glutes engaged and make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. And if you want to make it more challenging, you can shift forward on your toes to go even more over your wrists. And that's about a minute, so we're going to switch to the right side for right side plank. This one we're also going to hold for about a minute. And here you really just want to take up as much space as you can. So really push the ground away with your arm. And with your hips too, lift your hips more to the ceiling. Remember to squeeze everything, squeeze your butts, and then squeeze your shoulder blades together and reach that left arm all the way up to the sky. Really spread those fingers, take up space. And then here I just stack my feet as well. If I have shoes on, I also do the same thing at the gym. Just try to get those feet one over the other. And yeah, just keep pushing the ground away. It's definitely challenging. Time goes so slow when you're in a plank. And then we're gonna switch to the other side. Here you can see my shoulder blades going together as I'm trying to squeeze them together and really, really reach that right arm high. And then you wanna keep pushing the ground away, lifting those hips, squeeze your butt. Try to take up as much space as you can, squeeze your core. The main thing is also your foundation hand on the ground. Make sure you keep pressing with your thumb and your pointer finger so that not all the weight is being dumped into your wrist or the side of your hand. So just remember to make sure that you're really pushing with all 4 corners of your hand and not just dumping all the weight into your wrist. So we hold this plank also for 1 minute on the side plank. So this is where we take a 30-second break. Here it's a cobra pose from yoga. You just have your forearms down on the ground, squeeze your glutes, push the toes into the ground. Make sure you're pushing into the ground with your feet. And then just lift your chest forward and up, and you can look forward or straight down at the ground. It's a great acting to a lot of core workouts. Okay, and then we're gonna go right into our next one, which is the forearm plank. We're gonna hold this one for about a minute as well. You're doing great. Make sure to round your shoulders, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your core. If you wanna make this one more difficult, you can walk your toes forward as well. Otherwise, just try to have your shoulders over your elbows as much as you can. You're doing great. And then after this forearm plank, this is the last plank we're gonna do. So you got it, keep going. It helps to smile through the pain. But the plank is really so effective at toning your core up. All right, great job. Now we're gonna do a back bend hold. And there's a couple of variations you can do, but essentially you try to lift your whole body up, your legs and your chest off the ground. You can put your arms straight back. In yoga, you could leave your legs on the ground even and just reach your arms towards your toes. That's called a locust. This is also a locust with your fingers interlaced, reaching towards your toes. And yeah, palms face up or down, whatever feels best for you. And it gets more challenging if you want to put your arms ahead of you to hold that pose. And you can also touch your shoulders as well if that's easier or if that's more comfortable for you. But just focus on lifting everything up and really squeezing and lifting even higher. When you feel like you can't go any higher, try to squeeze a little bit more. And I usually switch to arms ahead of me like halfway through or even just towards the end for a little bit. All right, great job. And now we're going to do a little bit more stretching. Here I'm going into down dog. My legs are bent. I just walked my hands forward. You have this kind of pyramid shape, like a mountain pose. Or it looks like a mountain. It's not mountain pose. Mountain pose is a different one. But anyway, so this is down dog. And you just push the ground away with your hands. Try to keep your head neutral. Here I'm just alternating my legs, bending to get a little stretch in. And in down dog also, you want to tuck your tailbone and push your heels flat to the ground, but keep your legs bent. But now we're just going to take a break because everybody needs a water break. And now we're gonna go right into getting our lower body, our glutes all warmed up and ready to do a lower body circuit. Lower body and core. So I do about 10 fire hydrants each side. So I'm starting with the right side here, trying to lift the knee about to hip level. It's so fun if your like hips pop too. I think it's always so fun to get your hips moving. But yeah, it's also great for your glutes to get them warmed up. These two also, these usually make my hips pop. But yeah, you do 10 each direction usually. So it's kind of like a fire hydrant rotation. So yep, about 10 each direction or however many, like 5 to 10. And the whole time, try to keep your core engaged and pushing the ground away with your wrists. And now we'll do the same on the other side. About 5 to 10 each direction. Just trying to get those hips warmed up and the glutes engaged. But not in a way that tires them out, just in a way that gets some blood flow moving and kind of like activates those muscle fibers so that they're ready and ready to lift some heavier weight. I'm just doing a quick puppy stretch. Or you can do a child's pose and untuck your toes. Whatever feels best. A little bit of a glute stretch because that does start to burn after you do that. By sitting on your toes, it's just a nice way to take a little breather between some of these exercises. And then the last glute leg warm up I do are these donkey kicks. I try to just kick straight back and keep my core engaged as I kick. and I do about 10 of these on each leg. And I keep my toes flexed, and I try to keep my body just like straight and not leaning to one side like with my upper body. So really trying to keep almost like a plank-like strength as I'm doing these, and really focus on engaging the glute and keeping the torso pretty stable. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the specific leg warm-up there. Sometimes I do that circuit twice, but once is also enough to just get the blood flow moving there. And here we're just gonna do a forward fold. You can move your head around, shake yes and no. Keep those legs bent. It's just good to decompress your spine and get some blood flow moving. This is mountain pose actually. So you just are standing up straight, squeeze your glutes, roll your shoulders back, palms face forward, and just take a couple of breaths here. Try to make sure that your feet are dispersing the weight evenly as well. You can spread those hands super wide, get that nice hand stretch as well. And then pretend that there's a string in the back of your head, just pulling your head higher to improve that posture. All right, here we go. Let's get going. Take a water break. Get hyped. We're about to get into it. So now you want to grab your dumbbells. Here I have the 30-pound dumbbells. And we're going to start with RDLs. So you're going to keep those legs a little bent and reach towards your toes. Go about to your shins. Keep your butt engaged, of course. And then you're gonna go back to your hips, and we'll do about like 10 to 12 of these. You're doing awesome. These are so great. It's a full body movement. Make sure that your core is staying tight, that you're not having too straight of legs. You don't want to hyperextend at all. You can see I'm starting to shake a little bit. These definitely are such a great glute builder. They also, if these are pretty heavy dumbbells for me, so they definitely get my arms even a little bit of a workout just holding these 30-pound dumbbells. So definitely a full body movement. All right, you did it. So that's our first workout, our first exercise here. You can kind of put those to the side for now. Take a breather. We're going to go into a core exercise next. Here I have 10-pound dumbbells. I'm going to take one of them, and we're going to start with Russian twists. These are pretty common, but you just lift your legs up, keep your core tight, and swing side to side. I guess maybe not swing, but more like twist side to side with the 10-pound dumbbell. Focusing on breathing in and out when you crunch, and try to do evenly 10 to 12 both sides. You can even raise your legs higher. I know some people like to have them on the ground even. You could do. What's really important is the twist motion. I like to kind of have them hovered in the air. Awesome, and it helps to smile. You can breathe out and smile. That's a tip I learned from running in college and high school, that if you smile through the pain, it usually makes it easier, at least more bearable. All right, so now we're gonna go back to the 30 because we're gonna go for another leg exercise. This is a goblet squat. So just make sure that your toes are in line with your knees, because when you bend your knees, they should go the same direction as your toes. You just hold that weight between your hands up to your chest. Try not to move your chest too much as you squat. And just try to go straight down. Try not to go too far down where your hips dip. You want to just go above that point, but you want to go as low as you can into the squat. So you just, squats are kind of underrated, or I think the goblet squat is kind of underrated. I don't like doing the squats with a bar on my back. I forget what they're called, but they always hurt my knees. So I just have been really drawn to goblet squats. Yeah. So we do about 10 to 12 of these. Such a great way to build your glutes. Make sure that your core is engaged. It's pretty easy to not engage your core, so you got to think about squeezing your core tight. And remember to breathe. I breathe out on the way up and in on the way down. So I go inhale when I squat down, exhale, squatting up. Now we're going back to do another core exercise. All right, back to the 10 pounds. We're gonna put this between our knees because we're going to be doing some leg lowers. You kind of just squeeze it together at the below your knee, so you don't want it to fall on you. So make sure that you're squeezing your legs together, and that's the little dip you'll do towards the ceiling. So down and then push up to the ceiling. We'll do about 10 to 12 of these. And your hands and head should be flat on the floor. If you lift your head to look up at your toes, I think it makes the pose easier. So you want to try to keep your head on the ground and just look straight at the ceiling. And then I don't like having my hands under my butt. Sometimes that makes the pose easier. And especially because we're hopping here, we don't want to crush our hands. So this is how it looks when you lift up. And it's okay to lift up once in a while, obviously, but for the most part, try to keep your head down. And then do a pulse at the top. And I always, again, am focusing on my breath as well. So I breathe out on the harder part. So down is easy, and on the way back up is when you're using your core. So that's when I breathe out to contract my core. So that's a common theme. Every time that you're engaging the muscle, that's when you breathe out, and because that's how you're also engaging the muscle more, because your core engages more, and your core is part of all these exercises. All right, so the next one here is going to be some walking lunges. These are so great for your body. I do about 10 each leg. And yeah, if you're in a small space, you can go back and forth like this. Or if you're at the gym and there's a green track, or there's just a long span of space, you can just do about 10 one direction and 10 the other. When I'm at home, usually I have to do a couple turns to get in about 10 each leg, but it's not really a big deal. And these are just such a great workout, honestly. Also underrated. I feel like walking lunges are super good at building your leg strength, and I feel my core be so engaged when I do these as well. So yeah, definitely recommend doing walking lunges a bunch here. But yeah, you can do more than 10 per leg if you want. Sometimes I've done up to 20, but at least 10 each leg. All right, we're almost done with our first set. You can see I'm getting tired, and this workout definitely leaves you sore. I remember after this workout, I was sore for 2-3 days. But it's good. That's why it's so great, is because it's effective. And when you're sore, you know that your muscles are rebuilding and that you work them to a point of, being torn apart and rebuilding. So yeah, it's a good feeling being sore. It's always a good soreness for sure. All right, and now we're gonna go into crunches. Here, I do a toe touch crunch. In gymnastics, we would have no weight and we would just kind of swoop up over our feet, and that would be our crunch. But I added a weight in just to make it a bit more challenging. This is for your upper abs here, pretty much specifically. And to make it more challenging, you can always drop your legs lower and lower. And yeah, just do about 10 to 12 of those crunches. Awesome, way to go. Take a breath, take a breather. This is also a great resting pose between sets, or just if you need a breather during this set. So this is called a yogi squat, and you just squat all the way down, let your hips sink down, and you can rest your arms on your legs. It's a great hip stretch, and if you think about it, kids play like that all the time in a squat, and as adults we don't really squat much, so try to get a daily squat in like that, just in that pose. You can even be on your phone. And again, we repeat this whole circuit twice. So you just make your list, and it can be 4, 5, 6 exercises. You just do the whole thing twice with weights, each exercise, and it's just so effective. And at the end of every routine of this HIIT workout, I also usually try to do some push-ups or pull-ups. Definitely pull-ups, because in this whole routine, we don't really do any pulling. And if you don't have a pull-up bar at home, you can easily get one. No screws required. It can just hang in a doorway. And I think that was one of the best investments I made for my home gym, besides the dumbbells, was the pull-up bar. Always feel free to add in other exercises to this 2 sets. I think the 2-set rule is great. For example, here I'm adding in calf raises with the 10-pound dumbbells. You can just do 20 or so of these, and it's just adding in a different muscle group that you wouldn't get necessarily doing RDLs and goblet squats or walking lunges, to really target the calves. And you can also do this for arms. You can add in bicep curls with, I do 5 to 10 pound dumbbells, and then you can add other arm workouts as well, such as lateral raises, where you just have the dumbbells in your hand and raise your arms out straight to the side and down. That's one. Or shoulder presses, where you bring the dumbbells up and press up into the air slightly above your head. And yeah, you can just really get creative with it, add whatever you want. So my typical ones they are RDLs, and then Russian twists, and then goblet squat, leg lowers with a 10-pound dumbbell, walking lunges, and then crunches with a 10-pound dumbbell. That's about it. And then you can add in whatever you want. And we had the plank workouts in the beginning, so that's already such a great core workout to begin with. But yeah, you can tweak it however you want, but that is essentially the strength-based HIIT routine workout. Just doing it once a week will give some more muscle definition and fitness and help you get closer to that hourglass shape that you want. If you want more workouts and health and fitness tips, you can also join my school community. It's called Julia's Method, and all about pretty much helping you just become the best version of yourself. It's free right now, and yeah, the link is down below. All right, I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think of the workout. Bye.